In the heart of Gujarat in western India, this desertous and dry region of Saurashtra is the only natural habitat in the world where Asiatic lions can be found. For nearly 60 years, they have been protected as part of the Gir National Park. About 1,400 square kilometers of forest area set up exclusively for their conservation. According to the 2020 official census, there are 674 Asiatic lions living in Gir. But wildlife experts believe that the actual number has gone up to 900. Wildlife biologist Dr. Meena Venkatraman has been working with the species for over 20 years.
Here what happens is, so you have a home range of two groups. When the space is less, they could slide over each other, and there are lot of overlap in the home range. Even that has happened, and I recorded that during my study. And there is a point beyond which, there is a need for lions to disperse out and find new territories.
Nearly 50% of Gir's lions are now dispersed outside of the protected area. As lions proliferated, so did the rural population in this region. What was once a dense forested area has now rapidly evolved into agricultural land. Tiny hamlets have developed into bustling market towns. Over the years, lions began to be seen moving in and out of these human habitats in search of new territory and food.
We probably have 3-4 generations of lions that have, lived or born in these so-called satellite habitats. Yes, they have adapted to that life, their social, the organization, their grouping patterns change.
For over 10 years, scores of lion families have settled right next to villages in the midst of farms and open fields. But despite this close proximity, between 2023 and 24, reports of lions attacking humans have been less than 40. The local community has also slowly accepted the presence of a carnivore in their backyard.
लायन जो है वो तो मानिए पुराना है, पुराना मतलब कई सालों से लोगों उसकी पीढ़ियाँ हो गई लोगों के साथ रहना, लेकिन बाहर जब आया तो जो लोग मिले उससे या तो जिस लोगों के साथ उसने रहना शुरू किया वो नए लोग हैं।
Ramesh Chauhan is a local social worker who is also doing his PhD on this coexistence. Ramesh goes around from village to village, sensitizing the rural community on the animals' behavior and what they ought to do should a lion come their way.
जब किसान अपने खेत पे जाता है तो मानो कि बिल्कुल रास्ता है, एकदम छोटा रास्ता है, तो लायन सामने से अगर आ जाता है तो किसान बिल्कुल घबराएगा नहीं यहाँ का। वो क्या करेगा, वो अपनी बाइक है या तो साइकिल है जो भी है, या तो मानो कि पैरों से चला जाता है, पैदल चलता है, तो वो खड़ा रह जाएगा बिल्कुल पास में। लायन और उसके बीच में ज़्यादा दूरी नहीं रहती, बिल्कुल मतलब कभी कभी तो 10 फीट या तो 15 फीट के बीच में से अंतर रखकर लायन चला जाता है। जैसे लायन पार हो गया वैसे आदमी पार हो गया। तो ये रिश्ता जो बना हुआ है वो आमने सामने दोनों का एक सम्मान का रिश्ता है।
Even as most locals treat these encounters with reverence, one cannot just wish away the instinctive fear that a sighting can bring. The Maldharis are the traditional cattle herding community in the region, and they are the ones who come closest to the big cats while grazing livestock. Chauthabai, a cattle herder, was recently attacked by a lioness. He escaped with minor injuries, but since then he's been too afraid to go back to the fields.
નથી સીધું એને હમું હતું ને હું સીધો માલ તગડવા ગયો ને તો એ સામે હમ ધોરિયામાં આવ્યું સીધું બરાબર સીધું આવ્યું એટલે હમું આવ્યું ને એટલે સામે હમું થઈ ગયા મેં બી બરાબર એને સીધી મારી મત તળાવમાં હું વાંકો આવ્યો મેં નીચે સા કરતા હતા બરાબર સાનો સીમો ઓલું થાંભણે એવું બધું હતું ને લેતો હતો ને આમ કરે ને તો એને સીધો અહીં પંજો મારી દીધો પંજો મારીને સીધો ઢળી દીધો એને
તમને સીધા બચાવવા માટે કોણ આવ્યા હતા ત્યાં
બચાવવા માટે રાડ્યું નાખીને એટલે પછી સામે બીજા મારા પપ્પાને એ બધા હતા બરાબર એ સીધા એના હાકલા સામે જ કર્યા ને સીધો એને એમ થઈ ગયું કે હવે બધા આવી જાય ને પછી મેકીને વીયો ગયો.
As we travelled across Amreli district, we came across a full-grown male lion walking on the main road in front of our car. With some help from local villagers, we tracked the animal back to a field close to the Govindpur village. They said he had settled there with his pride for some time now.
फुल भाई कह रहे थे कितने हैं यहाँ पे आसपास शेर?
35 से 37.
और कितने गांव में घूमते हैं वो आसपास?
5 से 6 गाँव
रोज?
रोज.
દિવસનું જ હતું 10-11 વાગે 4 હતા મોટું જનાવર છે માદા છે 2 પાછડા છે.
Prides of lions have in fact been sighted as far as the coastline of Amreli district, 150 kilometers away from Gir's forested area.
ये जो लाइनस है ना वो फॉरेस्ट से जा रही थी और मैं 2 व्हीलर लेकर वहाँ से जा रहा था. ये रोड है ये यहाँ से आई रोड में से में ये 2 लोग वो जा रहे थे अपने हिसाब से.
27-year-old Rajan Joshi is a conservationist from Lilia village, located close to the coastline. He has been documenting lion movement around his village for over 10 years now.
जो पूरी शत्रुंजी रिवर है अभी आप देखो तो पूरी शत्रुंजी रिवर के कॉरिडोर में लायंस रह रहे हैं बट ह्यूमन एनिमल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट की 1-2 घटना तो बात करते हैं कोई भी घटना यहाँ पे हुई नहीं है. दिस इज़ वन ऑफ द फाइनेस्ट एग्जाम्पल. लोग अपनी तरह से रह रहे हैं लायन अपनी तरह से मूवमेंट कर रहा है.
This unique lion-human coexistence, however, is not entirely without its perils. In 2024, multiple incidents of lions coming under trains or getting electrocuted by electric fences were reported.
मैं जब वाइल्ड में जाता हूँ तो मैंने ऐसा हमारा जो एरिया है काफ़ी सारे रोड पे आ जाते हैं और दूसरी बात हम थे और लायन इंजर्ड था और मैंने फ़ोटो लिया. फॉर द एग्जांपल 2010 में 15 में काफ़ी सारी बात ऐसा हुआ. बाद में वो फ़ोटो मैंने फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट को दे दिया तो मालूम पड़ा ये लायन इंजर्ड है. तो बाद में उन्होंने ही इंस्टेंट उसे मालूम पड़ा और 2 में वो फ़ोटो थे बाद में एक्शन लेते उसे ट्रीटमेंट के लिए भेज दिया.
In September 2024, the Forest Ministry had proposed eco-sensitive zones around roughly 200 villages in Saurashtra. This would mean creating a 10-kilometer buffer zone each outside reserve forest areas, ensuring no human activities.
We have taken such criteria, some 14 criteria we have taken, and based on that, we have made a eco-sensitive zone. The government of Gujarat has also submitted it to Government of India. And eco-sensitive zone, as we all know, it is like a shock absorber. It doesn't include your sanctuary or national park. It includes areas outside the sanctuary and national park, so that the anthropogenic effect on the sanctuary and national park can be minimized.
As hundreds of Asiatic lions continue to traverse the length and breadth of the semi-urban terrain, they're also facing the challenge of finding natural wild prey for their survival. They are now seen hunting domestic cattle and dogs more than ever before. In 2018, over 40 lions were reported to have died due to a canine distemper virus that usually infects dogs.
We don't talk of preservation.
Conservationist Dr. Ravi Chellam is one of the earliest wildlife researchers of the Asiatic lions of Gir.
We are exposing the species to great risks. And this came to roost in 2018 when an outbreak of disease resulted in at least officially 40 or 60 lions dying in a matter of days. But my information is more than 100 lions died then, and lions continue to die due to diseases. And with lions living outside, being exposed to dogs, dead cattle, and other carcasses, the chances of them catching diseases only increases. While lions might seem friendly, while lions might allow close approach, while lions in general don't attack people, this should in no way allow us to underestimate what a lion is. It is a wild, large cat. A big male can weigh 200 kilos plus. It has its teeth, it has its claws, it can put it to use.
Based on Dr. Chellam's research findings, the Supreme Court of India in 2013 had ordered the Gujarat government to translocate some of Gir's lions to ensure genetic stability. But the state is yet to enact that order.
These are the sole surviving population of lions in all of Asia. There are no lions anywhere else in Asia. So it's not just a Gir, Gujarat, India problem. It's an Asia problem. I mean, that's the scale at which we need to see. So from less than 20, less than 50, we're dealing definitely with, who knows, 800,000 lions. I mean, all these numbers are thrown about, but we're dealing with a lot of lions. And a lot of lions, not just inside the park, but a lot of lions outside the park also. But translocation is not a solution to that problem. As I said, even if you had only 50 lions, there is great value in taking 5 or 8 animals to establish an alternate population, far away from where Gir is, as long as that habitat is suitable. Because if there is a flood, a disease outbreak, a fire, or even a political decision which undermines conservation for lions, then the distance provides the buffer.
As it looks like, for a carnivore to live so peacefully amongst humans is not much more than a survival mechanism. Wildlife experts warn that this seeming coexistence could potentially turn into a conflict if their natural habitats continue to shrink in furtherance of human development.
What is our conservation goal? That is the bigger question that we have to ask. We need to find some middle path and kind of where do we find more space for animals, and how do we improve the quality of life for people sharing space with carnivores.
Thanks for watching ecoindia. If you like the story, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Scroll.in on YouTube.